live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Yes, it is. Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Thursday, May 25th. We've got a number of things to get into. Our Paul Nelson will join us talking about the conversation about the potential for a gondola in Little Cottonwood Canyon, that and many other things. But we are following breaking news. We want to bring it to you right now here on 2 News Live. Crews are on scene of a structure collapse in Holladay. Let's take a live look from that scene right now. This is the area of 4890 South Highland Drive. It's the area of kind of a strip mall. There are a number of businesses here. We're going to run through this scenario for you. Unified Fire Authorities say this is a commercial building that is under renovation. We are told that construction workers were working inside of this building. They were able to escape without major injury. Crews say the building is still unstable, so our photographer on scene has actually been told that crews are now making sure that utilities are off and are also checking the structural integrity of some of the nearby buildings. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this. The map here on your screen kind of gives you a better indicator of where this is in Holladay. It's right with that bend in the road there on Highland, across from the Big Bear spot, which I believe is the old mall, if I remember correct. There's a number of businesses in this strip mall, including an optical center, also a clothing center, a Chico's store. Right now, trying to figure out if all of those stores have been evacuated at this point. But here is another live look at that area in Highland right now. We just learned about this within the last 30 minutes or so, roughly 30 minutes about this structure collapse. So the good news in all of this, no major injuries. However, that doesn't clarify if anyone did receive injuries from this. We're working to gather some more information, and of course we'll bring you updates here on 2 News Live as we get them here in the next 20 minutes or so, but also on 2 News at 6 o'clock. Let's go in depth on another topic now that has taken shape here, especially for those along the Wasatch Front for the last few years. Users of Little Cottonwood Canyon, you know what I'm talking about. A gondola proposed over Little Cottonwood Canyon is apparently one step closer to becoming a reality tonight. The Wasatch Front Regional Council approved the regional transportation plan, which makes the gondola a real possibility. Paul Nelson was at the council meeting, and he has those details for us live. Paul, what was actually voted on today?
Well, this actual vote, Brian, it was not to approve the gondola per se. What officials say is that this was the approval of the regional transportation plan as a whole, and that includes about 1,000 different projects. It includes pedestrian walkways, bike paths, and a whole lot of other things. We're at the gateway now because this is where the offices of the Wasatch Front Regional Council are, and this is where the vote actually happened. Interestingly enough, Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson introduced a substitute measure that once again tried to take the gondola out of the project. However, that was beaten 19-2. A lot of the council members say they simply just don't have the authority to take out parts of the overall plan, especially those that are tied to federal funding, which is exactly what the gondola was. So her substitute motion was rejected 19-2, but then after that, the council overall unanimously actually approved the overall plan without a single nay vote to move forward.
Paul Nelson live for us tonight. Paul, if I understand, there was definitely some opposition there, right? I mean, people did show up with signs and they were upset. I mean, this is a very interesting issue. There are two clear sides on this. As we've seen, we've brought in our media coverage over the years. So what happens next?
What happens next, though, is that they know that a lot of people actually hate this gondola proposal. A lot of the people who oppose it say that it's just a dirty option, it's slow, it's very expensive, and so they say it's just going to ruin the landscape overall. So knowing that, the council actually did decide to kind of implement this whole thing in phases. So the gondola is not on the first phase, it's actually in the third. So the first couple of phases include widening Wasatch Drive, increasing buses, and actually increasing tolling areas too, that will decrease the motivation to drive up Little Cottonwood Canyon. And officials tell me if those two plans, if those those two phases, I should say, actually do work, it's very possible that the gondola won't be needed. Now, this plan is constantly being updated every 4 years, and so when the idea of the gondola to move forward actually comes to time to do that, it's very possible that the updated plan will be rewritten and the gondola could be completely worked out of it. However, UDOT says for now this is their preferred option, especially if there is avalanche closures that happen in Little Cottonwood Canyon. They say the gondola is needed for things like that.
Paul Nelson live for us tonight after attending that Wasatch Front Regional Council meeting today, where a step was taken in the future of a potential gondola. Important to note that, but nothing approved saying this is going in tomorrow. So for those that stand on that side of the fence, do not worry. As I understand it, UDOT will have to make that final approval. It could be a while from now when we even hear about that.
Definitely a heated debate. Something needs to be done. I mean, I know I grew up at the base of the Cottonwood Canyons. Do I go up little now? Not very often.
How much has changed, in the Cottonwoods since you grew
used
up,
to go up
a young
all
lad here
the
in
time.
Sandy?
I know. You used to go up all the time. It was very easy. Now, of course, things have just changed. We have a lot more people here, so we'll see.
Regardless of that, I think some change will be made.
Right.
So hopefully it's for the better.
Right.
Hopefully people can wrap their heads around whatever that is. But no significant change today other than a step forward for this specific piece. Let's take a look at this. I remember you and I were talking about this months ago at this point. This part of the state here was in this extreme drought spot, and now this is so encouraging.
I mean, the last couple of years, there's been a lot of red on the map, but we've been showing you this map really almost every Thursday. That's when the drought monitor is released, and we continue to see improvements to the drought monitor. Last week, moderate drought, which is this shade right here, mainly in central Utah, about 19% of the state. Fast forward to today, 14% of the state underneath moderate drought. So we are continuing to make a dent. These summer thunderstorms, summer-like thunderstorms, kind of helping things out as well, and the ongoing snowmelt. So let's get to your forecast. We have been tracking those scattered showers and thunderstorms across the state. Right now, those rain chances, they're staying around for at least a couple more days. So this pattern just kind of continues. Tomorrow, Saturday, even Sunday, there's a chance for a few of these showers and storms. Now, the best part of this pattern, which I love, is that the first half of the day, it's just fine to get outdoors, do some yard work, but it's later in the afternoon and in the evening where we got a little bit of rain that can cool things off. Now, some drier air does push into the valleys by Monday and Tuesday. I still think we'll have some of those pop-up storms in the mountains, but definitely our rain chances lower here in Salt Lake. Today, 78 degrees has been our high temperature, which is a bit cooler. You can thank some of the cloud cover that has been kind of hanging out. Lots of 70s in central Utah, a bit warmer toward the east, 83 in Moab, and St. George close to 90 degrees. And we have some rain trying to push into the Salt Lake Valley, but our friends out in the Tooele Valley seeing some nice rain and lots of lightning as this cluster quickly races to the north over the Great Salt Lake, and we'll see how much will impact the Salt Lake Valley. We'll have some gusty winds. Best chance for that rain will be across the west side. We've had a few sprinkles, though, towards the point of the mountain. And this will continue to lift towards the north. A little bit of rain, though, approaching the northern end of the Wasatch Front, Cache Valley by 7 or 8 o'clock. We might have a couple sprinkles or lingering showers until about midnight, and then once again by tomorrow morning we'll be waking up to dry conditions, few clouds out there, really pleasant for your morning commute. It's going to be a busy travel day Friday morning because of the holiday weekend. If you're traveling down to St. George, you'll be just fine during the morning, but by the afternoon there could be a couple hit or miss showers near the I-15 I-70 junction. Best chance for storms will be across northern Utah up towards Nevada, Idaho, southwestern Wyoming. So if you are going maybe up to Yellowstone or areas north of Utah during the afternoon and evening, you might encounter a few of those thunderstorms producing brief heavy rainfall. And those storm chances, again, linger into the holiday weekend with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. But by Monday on Memorial Day, it looks warmer and drier. But again, if you're going to be up in the mountains, just keep your eyes to the sky. There could be a couple lingering storms. The overall pattern doesn't really change. I think the moisture moves back into Utah by the end of the month and into early June. So the 6 to 10 day outlook has above normal rain chances here in Utah. I think the best chance for rain will actually be in northern Utah with near normal temperatures in Utah, maybe a little bit cooler to the south compared to normal and above normal temperatures to our north. So pattern looking great for that rain chance to kind of hang out. We always like that rain, especially as we transition into June, which is typically a very dry month in Utah. Now, St. George, upper 80s, which is near normal through the weekend. Low 90s next week. Will stay a little breezy under partly cloudy skies Wednesday and Thursday, but no storms down south. Maybe a couple popping up, though, over the mountains. Salt Lake will be in the 70s through the weekend with overnight lows cooling off into the mid-50s. I'm loving that. Mid-80s, dry Monday, Tuesday. Then our storm chances go back up Wednesday and Thursday here in northern Utah and staying pretty warm in the low 80s.
Chase, thank you. Continuing to follow breaking news out of Holladay of a building collapse. There's a representative from Unified Fire Authority speaking to members of the media right now. Let's listen in.
Should be hazardous as far as that goes. So we did have a very large response. We had our hazmat teams here. We had our heavy rescue teams here. We did bring a K9 unit in, searching for life, and everybody is accounted for.
When you see that level of instability, how does that change how you guys approach a situation like this?
Well, we obviously don't want to put ourselves at risk, but we do measure a reward versus risk attempt at these types of things. And right now, the initial searches came up empty. They don't find any leaks with their monitoring equipment. Everything came up clean. So they're comfortable with all of that, but of course the building still is unstructurally sound. So they're waiting to determine what to do next with the city engineers.
On that same line, we're going to have some storms rolling through here, likelihood tonight,
potentially,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
What does that do to your situation here?
It might impact it a little bit. We might have to take a little delay as far as what we're doing. I'm assuming that within the next few hours we're going to begin releasing some of our crews from the scene and let the city engineers do their thing as far as determining what the structural integrity is and what they need to do to demolish it.
Who handles the investigative portion of it in terms of what went wrong in there today?
That's not something that we do. I would imagine there's some OSHA perhaps. I don't know exactly who does that.
Describe that structure for us before and after. Was it 2 stories inside? I understand there's a parking garage underneath. What are we looking at?
Yeah, a parking garage underneath. I believe it's just a 1-story building. Some pretty good height on it though. It's a pretty, I don't even know what the business was. I didn't find that information out. But the neighboring business was a dental office. They were doing patient care in there with their dental clients. They heard a loud crash, and fortunately nothing happened on that side of the building, and they were all able to get out safely.
At the end of the day, you show up and you see this level of devastation, and then you find out that nobody's hurt. Does it blow your mind? Well,
it's a victory, right? It's a positive thing. We're all excited about that. We're glad that there wasn't anybody that was harmed in this incident. We're unfortunate there's some property damage, but you know, that's what insurance is for. So it'll just take some time to get things back up and going where it needs to be.
You brought a dog in to help look good?
Yes, yeah. We do have a station in Mill Creek that has a K9 unit that they keep, this particular crew, and they did take him in to search the building, and he came up with nothing.
Neighboring businesses all shut down?
Currently, yeah. For how long, I couldn't tell you.
Kind of an odd question. You have some new facilities right around here with some new apparatus. Did that help in your response today to have all this personnel and equipment?
Well, that's how we want to be able to respond as quickly as possible, and we strategically place our houses and our crews where they can be the most efficient at their response.
You are listening live to a media briefing from Unified Fire Authority. The latest on a building collapse there in Holladay. It's in the middle of a strip mall. So just to kind of unpack this for you, this is 4890 South Highland Drive. There are a number of businesses there. You just heard from Kelly Bird with Unified Fire Authority kind of outlining that this was a single structure on top of maybe some parking structure underneath. So there was some sort of a renovation going on in that building in the upstairs portion, as we understand it. Construction workers were inside. They were able to get out without any major injuries. Meanwhile, all the businesses next door, they had people inside. They were going about their day. You just heard about a dentist office next door that were working on patients as we take a live look at this situation right now unfolding in the last hour or so in Holladay, next door to where this collapse is, a number of businesses. So we're imagining at this point evacuations were ordered for some of those businesses, or they just got out of there because the structural integrity is definitely in question here. And that's something that they discussed here just a few minutes ago in that media briefing. As we learn more about this and as we're able to gather some more information throughout the evening, be sure to join us here on 2 News. This map here shows you kind of where this is. Maybe you live in this area. If you're looking off, heading on Highland, you say, hey, there's an awful lot of fire crews there and law enforcement and media. Well, this is probably why, because that building collapse has definitely gotten some attention here over the last hour. We will continue to give it the attention here on 2 News. Coming up at 6 o'clock and also tonight, be sure to check out our article with updates right now on our website, KUTV.com. Going in depth now on another topic. I had the chance to get out and get some sun today out on the range at Camp Williams, our local Utah National Guard base in the Bluffdale area. A vast landscape out there, just perfect for some wildland firefighter training. The Bureau of Land Management, Unified Fire Authority, they got together for a number of scenarios focusing on engine crews and engine training, the crews that run those engines. Now, the engines are typically one of your first resources on scene at a wildfire. So they ran through a number of techniques using that they used during initial attack fire suppression. Let's hear from a veteran engine captain himself.
Division Whiskey, Soup 7.
We're finally out of the classroom after 2 days of instruction, doing a lot of PowerPoints, and
I got to get back up.
so now we're out here doing in the field exercises.
Be good? I'm good, yeah.
A simple mobile attack. Rolling the truck, putting fire out while moving.
It's all good with the engines, and if we get these spot fires taken care of.
This one here is a spot fire, and it's a scenario to go through a trapment scenario. So
Create a little urgency.
Create a lot of urgency. Yep. Get them familiar with that feeling and how important it is to make those quick decisions.
That could be some real life stuff. Like
How valuable are these exercises to, implementing it in the real thing when it comes?
I think it's super valuable. This is the time that we can slow things down or speed it up on purpose. People can get familiar with the processes and those standard operating procedures. It takes that classroom experience and really gives them something to start when they get to the field. These are professionals. We're training to do the job that needs to be done. Obviously, when it's in someone's backyard, it's a whole nother animal, and we want to take care of it. So getting this training in and doing a good job is definitely on the forefront of everyone's mind.
Can you watch my hose as he makes this turn here?
A good day to get out there and join everybody. As always, the training is one of things that they're trying to do to get ahead of these wildfires, but there are really things that we can do to prevent these wildfires from happening in the first place. Sound like a broken record, we'll say it a lot. A solid number of fires each year in Utah are human caused. Chase talked about this recently as well. Looking at utahfiresense.org, it's a great place for you to check out some resources, learn more about the leading causes of fire and what resources are available to you. Also reminders about dousing your campfires, maintaining your vehicle, target shooting responsibly, and of course being cautious with fireworks, just to name a few of what are considered human caused when we talk about wildfires. This Memorial Day, we have a 2 News special looking at the wild weather we've had so far this year. After our historic winter season, what could our state be facing in the hot summer months ahead? Well, hopefully those questions are all answered and discussed in this special, Wildfires, the state's ongoing drought. Our 2 News weather special airs Monday at 4:30. That would be the Memorial Day. We hope you can join us for the most special of all specials. Lincoln Graves been working hard on that one. We've seen a lot of the pieces that are involved in this, so it should be pretty cool.
I think you're going to like it.
Yeah, in the drought conversation, obviously in there, you talked about that as well. It's important to recognize, I think we were talking about this when we were talking about the Bureau of Reclamation, bringing that water into Lake Powell. They really stressed to me that one great year doesn't get it done.
No. If you think about the last 10, 20 years, we've had a handful of okay years. We really haven't had a whole lot of above normal years. So great that we had one. It'd be nice if we had a lot more, but I think we're going to be dealing with this ongoing drought for quite some time. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. We were indeed live tonight, bringing you those updates from Holladay on the latest for that building collapse,
Be sure to join us on 2 News at 6. Also on our website right now, KUTV.com. We're updating all that information there as it comes into our newsroom from our crews out on the scene. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We are back to wrap up the work week with another 2 News Live tomorrow at 5:30. Have a great night.